All right, hello everyone and welcome. My name is John and today I'm going to be performing some plant surgery on this guy right here. This is a very special variegated Philodendron Burle Marx, and I will show you it has a mutation that causes it to just continually branch and keep branching and putting out new growth tips. So this started out as like 5 leaves, mostly variegated, and then it just started branching all over. Now the green has taken over because that's going to grow more quickly than the variegated portions. But I want to separate them, and I don't really want to just take a cutting of the variegated part. I want to try and unpot this whole thing and separate that out, keeping the root system intact. Now, I tried this exact method earlier this year. Actually, that was last year, on my large variegated syngonium, and it was mostly successful. I was able to actually untangle the roots, pull out the vines I wanted to keep. But if you saw that video, what happened is that I wanted that plant to have more room to grow up the pole. So instead of just attaching it, I tried to like wrap it around, and it looked like it was going well until a few days later when I realized I had damaged the vines in doing that, and the leaves were literally looked like they had melted. So we're not going to do that today, but I am going to do my best to separate this out, and I'll show you what that process is like, and then I'll show you how cool this thing is and how really it's going to be amazing now the variegated part is starting to get quite a significant amount of growth tips on there. So can't wait to get that a little isolated to really show it off a little more. Now, the other option I do have is to just actually cut out all of the green and just like cut that back to the soil line and could just continually do that. So this root system wouldn't be disturbed at all. But I do think this is rather a special plant. The mutation is quite unique and it is very cool. So I do want to keep that intact as much as possible, and then I'll give that away to somebody so that they can enjoy it. Yeah, all right, so we got to get this thing out of here. We'll take a look at how tangled these roots are and hopefully how not tangled they are. And yeah, wish me luck. Okay, so first things first, let's get this thing out of here. Woo! All right, ta-da! Well, that's pretty tangled now, isn't it? Ah, how's this for a thumbnail? Okay, oh boy, where to begin? Okay, so it's not gonna be easy, but what I like to do in these situations is get a bucket filled with water. I'm gonna stick this in there and just work it for a while. Try and get as much of this dirt off as possible. I have this here filled with water, so I'm gonna just submerge this. That should allow me to get all of this dirt off over time, but it is gonna be a bit of work. So here we go. Okay, well, yeah, it's not gonna be easy, but still got a ways to go. I've got this pretty well bare rooted now. So the question is, are these actually separate vines, or at some point deep down in here, are they all sprouting from the same stem? There's not really a great straightforward way to do this, but well, we're pretty deep into this at this point, but this might be a good time. As good a time as any to say, please do not try this at home. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We'll plop this on here. I'll have the variegated side up so that it's not applying pressure to it. I have this root pick here, So I'm gonna start just prying these apart a little bit. Not too worried about the lower parts of the roots. I just want to see if I can wiggle these stems apart. Okay, so if anyone's wondering, like, doesn't that damage roots? Yes. Oh, I'm very much damaging these roots. But we take cuttings from healthy plants all the time with no roots at all, and they do fine as long as that plant is in good shape. So I really don't need all of these roots. I'm gonna do the best I can. If I even got 50% of these roots, I will be doing very well. So really, I just need to create some separation up here, closer to the base of the stems. Okay, well, I really don't want this to be true, but it kind of looks like these are all coming from one stem down here. Which would be an interesting plant, but that would mean I won't be able to actually separate out the part I want. Okay. Well, I can trace all of this back to one stem, which means it's going to be very difficult to figure out where any of these roots are coming from. But yeah, so I'm just going to start cutting away the other parts, and we'll see what happens. I'll show you how we can trace the stems down, and then it splits out to the variegated portion, but it's all coming back to the one stem at the bottom. So yeah, it's fine, but it's kind of a shame because now the only way to proceed is to really split up this kind of, unique and special. Unique and special plant. Yikes. All right, check it out. Okay, so this stem comes down through here. You can see it turns left here, but then it also goes and splits back up. See that? So now we'll look at it from this side. So from there, it goes up to this stem, which is a green stem, and it also, right here, splits out into all these variegated portions over there. So all of this is coming from these various vines, which can be traced back to that one stem in there, and it's making this entire incredible bushy plant. All right, so this is the point where I ask myself, like, what am I doing exactly? Why didn't I just take a cutting without even unpotting it? Hope. I had hope. I was hoping I could just pop this right out of here. Now, if you watch the Syngonium separation video, you'll see that I had the same reaction. After that whole project, I was just wishing I had taken a cutting from the top instead of doing this whole operation. But this plant is unique because it has some mutation, and I don't know what will happen to the mutation if I took a cutting off the top. Maybe it will continue, maybe it won't. So I wanted to do my best to keep this plant as is so that it can just do its thing, and I can just highlight the variegated portions. So I need to come in here to the stem, and I'm going to come as low down on the stem as I can to this lowest split, and we'll snip off there, and we'll just see where that gets us. So the thing with these long projects is you start out being super gentle, and then, maybe once you cross that like 45-minute mark, start applying a little more effort, a little more force, throwing down the power. It's pretty difficult to know where to grab on this thing because there are growth tips everywhere, and I'm trying so hard not to squish some. I've already broken 2 little nubs off. It won't affect the future growth of the plant, but it is a bummer. But again, there's like nowhere safe to grab. All right, so it's coming apart a little bit now. Oops. Well, I was gonna cut that loose anyways, so hello. So the thing that's happening here is, since there's so many growth tips everywhere, the roots have grown out, and then the new stems come in, and it's all just pushing in on each other. So they've basically, like this is totally unattached, but the roots are just like being smashed between these other things. So it's very difficult to separate it. All right, the good news is there's quite a bit of roots over here. Ta-da! Bum 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 ba-da-dum bum bum bum. Wow. All right, well that was a struggle, but well, it wasn't a struggle. It was a long little battle there. Okay, so this one is going into hydro in here. I got a blend of half lava, half turfus. We'll pop a pole down to the bottom. Oh my God, this one root is crazy long. All right, well, we did it. That was quite a little battle, but look at this. I mean, this is awesome. Now you can really just see, you know, all the really best parts of this plant. And yeah, as this continues to grow and develop and push out new growth tips, it's gonna be world class. So be on the lookout for an update. But I hope you enjoy this. I hope you learned something. Maybe you learned what not to do. This is definitely, not easy, and I wouldn't recommend it unless you absolutely had to, as I did here today to preserve this very unique plant. So thank you for coming on this journey with me today. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave me a comment, let me know what you think. And as always, I wish you all the best with your plants and with your life, and I hope to see you back here again real soon. Peace.